What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. We hope that you are having a great day, and we are back with another episode of the Step Back playoff mode, right, Josh? We're in playoff mode right now.
Yes.
We're gonna be talking some playoffs. Gonna be talking some awards. Just breaking it down. We're about what? We got like a month or so of the season left. Uh, Month and a half, something like that. I don't know how to count. I don't know if you've ever watched me, but I can't count. But that's okay because that's why I have Josh here, my main man, my partner, my co-host. How you doing today, Josh?
Depending on how the Knicks finish off this game, it looks like we're going to do okay and hold on to it at the moment. You could also tell how I'm committed to the show by missing a bit of the end of the Knicks game, but at the moment we're looking good. I'm feeling okay as long as we win, and we'll see how it goes. But at the moment, as we're winning, I'm feeling pretty solid.
And if you see Josh take his chair and start slamming it against the window, you know what happened. Okay, let's just prepare for that. Yeah, the Knicks are leading 103-87. I think is the current score. Yeah.
Yes.
So Josh is in a good mood right now. That's always good. Hopefully his team will win, and hopefully my team will win. So we'll see what happens. But Josh, we are back. We are back. It is time to talk some playoffs. But before we get into the playoffs, um, we'll talk a little bit of some of the things that happened before the playoffs. Uh, One in particular pertaining to my team, the Lakers, got some injuries, and it came at the worst time. Luca got hurt, I believe his hamstring, and Austin Reeves also got hurt. So the Lakers are going into playoffs, kind of wounded with a 40-something-year-old LeBron. They are taking on the Rockets in the first round, but it did cost them their seat, their seed. I think they dropped down to fourth, if I'm correct.
The Lakers are another 4 seed. They're going to play the Rockets, who are the 5 seed. In fact, later after the Knicks Hawks game, they will be hosting the first game against the Houston Rockets
No, they were, I believe, ahead of the Nuggets for a while.
for a while. Oh
Yeah,
yes, for a
yeah, and
while. And but the Nuggets also went on an insane, and we'll talk about this when we get into the playoff predictions. They're like on a 13-game winning streak at the moment.
yeah. And it was unfortunate because the Lakers, the injuries, the last couple of games, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Luca got hurt. What team did he get hurt? I don't remember exactly. I want to say against the Nets, maybe. I'm not sure, but he got hurt. Um, and now we're going to the playoffs, Josh, with a Lakers team that has no Luka Doncic, no Austin Reeves. Kind of took the wind out of our sail. I mean, just give us your overall thoughts. Like, does this hurt the Lakers' first round chances? Does it hurt them, completely? Like, what kind of is your thought process right here?
It definitely hurts them. Like I'm not going to say that they are better off or equal without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. However, I think it's going to be very interesting. It's a real shame because I was really interested to see how this is probably the last year of LeBron and the Lakers, whether he retires or leaves. So I wanted to see him and Luca on one more playoff run. I'm not going to write them off completely because I think LeBron has shown enough in his career by far where it's like, and I'm not, Houston was both of our predictions to make it out of the West. And at least with me, I feel extremely disappointed in how this season has played out for Houston. I've lost a lot of faith. I think what's going to be very interesting going into this first round series, if LeBron does find a way to win this series against Houston, survive, I think there is a chance Luka comes back for the second round. And then you can maybe start talking about your chances against OKC with Luka maybe back. Are you going to rush him back? It's going to be one of those things. But like, this is a huge series, and people don't think about this much, or won't think about it in this way because a lot of people are just writing off the Lakers. This is a huge legacy series, not only for LeBron or for Kevin Durant. Because if Kevin Durant loses to LeBron without Luca, without Austin Reeves, to this Laker team, it is a huge hit on KD's legacy, given how weird his playoff history has been ever since he left Golden State. And on the other end, if LeBron is finds a way to win this series, no, this isn't going to be something like be like, oh, this if he wins the series, he it's not going to convince Jordan fans that he's the GOAT. However, it's just another notch on his belt of like if you're making the LeBron argument, it's like in his year 41 season, when everyone counted him out because the two main scorers of the Lakers of Luca and Austin got injured, he was able to will a Lakers team against a very talented Rockets team to a first round victory. And even if they lose to OKC in the second, it'll just be like it's amazing that 41-year-old LeBron James can do this at this point of his career and have this type of playoff series.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Mr. J the six in the chat. Speaking of Laker fans, yes. Unfortunately, this was just unfortunate. I mean, Luca was on a tear. There was, we talked about the injury thing with players, and Cade Cunningham and Luca both won their case, so they'll be able to be in um,
The
consideration for
MVP and
award. Yeah,
all
yeah,
NBA team.
yeah, awards. Yeah, KD is out this Saturday, and so they'll be in consideration for all those awards. But this was a unfortunate event for the Lakers because if you lost Luca, he grabbed his hamstring during that game. It's like okay, that sucks. But then you also lost Austin Reeves. You're like probably your second best player. I mean, you could say LeBron's the second best player on the team, but he had been productive enough that you could say Austin Reeves is that second best player, and it just deflated. You know, Coach. Um, God, I can't remember. I cannot remember his name now.
JJ Redick.
JJ Redick. Uh, Back to back 50-win games hasn't been done. But in the first couple years, I think since Phil Jackson.
Are you talking
So
about for the Lakers or overall? I assume
I
just
think I
Lakers.
think it. I think it's the Lakers. I think
Yeah.
it's the Lakers. But that's kind of quite an accomplishment. He put together a team that looked really good, and I think I'm not gonna say overachieved, but they did. A lot of people felt like this team would have been like a 5, 6, or 7 team, and for the fact that they were in third most of the year, really, like you said, if it wasn't for the Nuggets having an insane run, um, it'd be a little bit different. But it pretty much became worst case scenario for the Lakers, where the second round, even if they get past this first round, they had to play the Thunder, which they didn't want to play. Like I would have taken the Spurs, I would have taken any other team. Don't want to see the Thunder, so it's unfortunate. But I think you're right as far as when it comes to legacy for LeBron, and we can maybe talk about this on another show with him and the Lakers. But for him, if he could pull this off and get to the second round, I think you're right. It would almost be like a pass. Okay, they got past the first round against the Rockets team, uh, but they're going to probably lose to the eventual NBA champs. If they don't get swept, that's a win in itself. So we'll see what happens with this first round. I do think the Lakers can pull it off, like you said, and LeBron has been doing well this year. That he can for 4 games he could probably will the Lakers to wins. It just depends on can he is he going to have to get those wins in all at home, or can he go on the road and win a game? Because if he could go on the road and win a game, that's huge, um, and that could be real big, like you said, for his legacy. Um, yeah, it's just unfortunate. The Lakers ran into this injury bug right at the worst time. Luca was on a tear. Russell Reeves was playing well. The team had really good chemistry, so it sucks. I do agree with you. I think this is probably LeBron's last year with the Lakers. I have a feeling he's gonna go. He's gonna probably be traded to Cleveland next year. I don't know if it.
I think he's a free agent, so he
Yeah.
wouldn't be traded. He could
So
just
there you
leave.
go. Yeah. So he could just leave. Kind
I
of
could be
leave.
wrong, but I
It,
think he's a free agent. He
I.
normally does the 1 year deals and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's good for the Lakers as far as because they were able to kind of have a back a plan with Luca and Austin Reeves. So now you can just try to find another superstar or so build a team around Luca and still be competitive. You're not losing. You're not going to go from 53 wins and now down to like 10 or 20 because you lost a lot. So I think the backup plan is well worth it. Um, I do, but I do believe there's a lot of. I mean, actually, it was funny when you brought that up. There's a lot of things I've been seeing of kind of this talk of why is LeBron so hated by the Laker fans. We've talked about this, and or why he is not. um, presented as and loved like a Kobe Bryant or Magic Johnson with the Lakers. And maybe the next show we'll talk about that because that's a very interesting topic. We've talked about it a few times here. Jay saying more money for the Lakers to find a younger number two next to Luka if LeBron retires or leaves. I have a feeling he's going to leave. I think he will go back to Cleveland to finish out his career, and I do think Bronny's going to go with him, which is kind of funny. Which again, as a Laker fan, kind of irritates me because why did we draft him for him to leave?
To be honest, I think I disagree. I think Bronny's going to stay in the Lakers. I think it would be really difficult for Bronny to become his own NBA player. If the minute LeBron leaves, he leaves as well.
Oh, for sure, I agree with you, but I don't know. I just that's how I feel. I just feel that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. We can't we can speculate. Um, Before we move on to just real quick to touch on the plans, is there anything else you wanted to say about the Lakers? Like you said, you are disappointed you're not going to get to see the team at full strength, but it is what it is. Do you think the Lakers can pull it off, or do you think? And maybe this will go into our predictions and everything. But do you
I
think?
think it's possible. Like, if I was to give them a chance, I'll give them like a solid 25 to 33% chance around. Like, I think first off, it helps that KD is out today.
Yeah.
So I think that will help. It helps that they have the home field advantage. So they will be playing in home field, and I think for one series, LeBron can go Superman mode. The question is first off, how long can LeBron carry the team if Luca and Austin are injured? What are the role players that are going to step up basically that will fill this void? Like you're probably going to need a very big hot streak from Luke Kennard from 3-point range. You're going to need some players like Rory Hachimura, I believe, to build up to just fill in the role and do well enough. But I think the Rockets are going to win the series, and we'll get into those um predictions. What I think though is like I think this is a 6 to 7 game series. I don't
Okay.
know which way it goes, but I think it's a 6 to 7 game series.
Okay. And we'll talk about that in our predictions. Jason, I believe enough in I don't even know how to pronounce the name, but Rui, a decent version of our center,
Aiden.
Aiden, and a good shooting game from Kennard to get things done. I believe they can take game one, but you have to have that all series. That's the thing. I think a lot of pressure is going to be on Rui and Aiden to put, to kind of cover that paint. The thing you're going to ask now is LeBron to basically play point forward. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, and like you said, can he do that? Can he be Superman? Can he also score and distribute? Because he's going to have to be able to get guys the ball in scoring positions to make it easier on him and help the team score. Because outside of LeBron, who's really a scorer on that team when you don't have
And
Luke?
and the question also, we've been talking a lot about the Lakers. This is also on the Rockets to step up and win a series they should win because they have the more talented team. This is a series that I want Sengun or Amen Thompson to like really step up and be like, "Hey, we're the best duo." LeBron's 41 years old. Yes, we have KD, but like this is our time to have a playoff moment. I'm really interested in see how good of a series Sengun or Thompson has.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's real quick. Let's just touch on the playing tournament. The four teams that made it were the Suns, Trailblazers, Magic, and 76ers. Out of those four teams, two on each side, do you think any of them will do any noise in the playoffs?
I think it's got to be on the East side. On the West side, no, it's nothing against those two teams. Like they're great stories, both the Trailblazers and the Suns. And I do believe that like Devin Booker gets underrated because he's on a Suns teams that has not been the best at putting talent around him. And ever since he made the finals, I feel like that team has made any type of decision they needed to make was the wrong decision.
Yeah,
So it's just been downhill after downhill after downhill for them. However, what I will say is on the West side, I just don't think the Spurs or the Thunder are going to lose to those two types of teams. On the other side, I actually think it's very realistic that either the 76ers or the Magic give a really tough series or even win the series. I think this Boston team is good. I don't think it's unbeatable, and I think Maxey is a player that scares the bejesus out of me. I think he can like take over a series, and I think he's going to be very difficult for Boston to guard. I don't even really care about Embiid. This is Maxey's team at the moment. And the 76ers have a decent amount of shooting and decent amount of like young slash interesting talent where it's like I think they can give Boston an interesting series. I think Boston will probably win. However, I'm this is like an opponent that if I'm Boston, I'm kind of a little nervous about, especially just against Maxey. I think Maxey is I have a very, very, very high respect for Maxey. And then quickly on the Magic, what I'll say about them is it's very interesting because they're playing Detroit. I think those are two very similar teams. They're both very defensive, tough, effort type of teams who offensively, I think Detroit has consistently been better offensively, and that's why they've been the one seed. But I remember at the beginning of the year, me and my sister were talking to an NBA friend, and we were arguing Cade Cunningham versus Paulo. And that seems silly after this year when Cade Cunningham might be the fifth most MVP. He might be first team All NBA. He led his team to the one seed. But I think Paulo, but at the time before the season, there was a really convincing argument you could make that I would rather have Paulo than Cade Cunningham. And it's funny that now they're meeting in the playoffs. It's going to be very interesting to see that, like, if Cade loses in this first round to a Magic team that has Desmond Bain, who has been in the playoffs, they are a good defensive team. This isn't a team I'm just writing off. I have enough trust in Detroit that I'm going to pick them in the end, but like I don't think this is an easy opponent for the Pistons at all.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you on that one. I don't think the Suns or the Trailblazers are going to make any noise. Um, but I can see, like you said, the 76ers or the Magic maybe doing something, maybe winning a couple games, maybe stretching the series. But I think Pistons and Celtics should win. Uh, but we'll see what happens. You never know. You never know. And if the Trailblazers beat the Spurs in the series, that would just be the most massive upset. You know, the Hornets were the people's champs, and they went limp when it mattered the most. I mean, look at it's funny. Like as the playoffs started, you start seeing videos, and every video I saw was of the Ball brothers and LaMelo becoming his guy. There was like a video of his dad like telling him like you're not even ready to play in the NBA da 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 da, and how they he's become this leader of the Hornets. It's gonna be interesting to see where that Hornets team goes now. They can attract some free agents and they can become a real threat in the East. So it'll be interesting to see. But I like what I saw from now. We didn't have this on the thing, but I actually want to ask you about this, Josh, real quick. I know we're going we're turning
All
left.
good, all good. Let's do it.
But what did you think about that whole situation with Lomelo and Bam and the tripping?
I think that whole game from LaMelo was a crazy roller coaster. Like he had a very weird game where he was awful from the three-point line, but made some very important plays. But also in the overtime, I believe he fouled on a three-point shot, which gave Miami the lead. But then it was like up and down. And I didn't love the Bam thing with Lamelo. It is what it is. I always try and give players the benefit of the doubt initially. And I haven't heard enough about Ball being a dirty player or that type of thing. I think it didn't look great, admittedly, but I also I'm not. This is going to be a weird thing because I don't play professional sports, but I love playing sports like on pickup games.
You play frisbee.
I do
You're
play frisbee. I
professional.
don't play for professionally though, but I love playing ultimate frisbee and stuff like that. And sometimes in the heat of the moment,
Yeah.
like this is the thing that's going to happen in sports. There's going to be a foul that like you're running or you're doing something so fast and you're working at mental speed or whatever. You're trying to go for a play or or do everything you can, and sometimes your brain just doesn't. You make an obvious foul that like it happens. Like the way to avoid that is to not go for the ball, and that's not how it works. I don't remember the ball Bam play that much, to be honest, because I missed the first half of that game, and I only heard about
Uh oh. Okay, Josh is disconnected. So that is mid sentence. Okay, you're muted, Adelia.
Yeah, I forgot I was muted backstage. I don't know what happened to Josh there.
Yeah,
But we'll take him off screen and I will fill in until he comes back, hopefully.
yeah, yeah. So Adelia, what did you think about the band? No, I don't know if you saw that, but it was a. I'll say this, and kind of going off of what Josh was saying. In the heat of the moment, I think he was trying to foul. Oh, there we go. Josh is back.
Josh
sorry,
is
There he
back.
is.
I'll
sorry,
just
lost
stay on the
connection
show.
there.
It's okay.
You want to finish your thought, Josh? My apologies.
I'll just say that like when you're playing, it just things happen very fast, and sometimes you do an obvious foul that's a little dangerous, and like I think that might have happened. I'm going to give Ball the benefit of the doubt that he wasn't trying to injure Bam in any way. It's unfortunate that that's what happened, but even then, the Heat team that game went to overtime, and there were a lot of moments where the Heat should have won that game. It was a very roller coaster game, and a little post mortem on Charlotte. I'll quickly say is that like they're a very promising team. They have a very interesting young core with Ball, Khan, and Brandon Miller. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to make real noise in the East, but this was a valuable playoff experience where they were very They were a roller coaster, and they got blown out by Orlando the next game, and they just got to be more consistent. And I think they might be with the experience. Well, it reminded me almost of one of Josh Allen's first playoff games. I believe it was against the Texans. He had some very good moments. He also has had some crazy moments where I think for one of them he did like last plays was like a weird backwards pass that almost got fumbled or something like that. It was I think a lateral. I think he was running and then he decided to lateral it out of nowhere, and luckily it didn't hurt them too much if I remember correctly. But like sometimes when you have a player like Ball that's that talented, it is a roller coaster, and he does some stuff that's like a little on the crazier side.
Yeah. Josh, you have siblings?
I have three younger siblings.
You have three younger siblings. I know Adelia has siblings. I have siblings. And you ever play with your siblings and you're play fighting and it gets a little too rough and you accidentally throw your sibling into a bed or they fall off the bed or you hit them with the chair or something like that. And you're like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but it happens. This is what happens. I think he was trying to foul Bam, but when he pulled his foot, he didn't realize he pulled it so much that he made him fall and hurt himself. And I think I think it was just a more of a I was trying to foul him, but I wasn't trying to foul him that hard or do that to him. It wasn't
Yeah.
a malicious foul. So it is interesting. Kind of, I believe he did get fined. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he did get fined for it. Um, and hopefully that doesn't, hopefully Bam recovers from it. I haven't heard anything else about it. But people were very upset. I know that the coach for the Heat, Eric Spoelstra, was very annoyed. I'll say that with the whole situation. So it was very interesting to see and what happened with that. So we will, that was interesting. But I think they're gonna probably put some rules in place to protect players like that because it's a weird foul. Like it's almost like the same thing with Draymond Green when like he was kicking people in the balls. Like,
Mhm.
why are you kicking? How are you kicking people in the balls if you're going up for a ball? Like, why are your feet
Yeah.
flying this way? And it was like, So I think it'll probably be that kind of situation. But like you said, Josh, benefit of the doubt kind of situation. But we'll see what happens with that. But I just wanted to talk about that. That was very interesting.
Absolutely.
Real
And
quick,
when you do a
go ahead.
post mortem on all the other teams, I think you'll agree with me on this. The Hornets, out of all the teams that lost in the play in, are by far the best set up to
Yes.
maybe have a huge step up next
Yeah,
year.
I agree.
And the three teams that lost in the play in, which are the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Heat, all of them, I'm looking at them, I'm like, yikes, what are you going to do from here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think Lamelo's like his leadership, his playability has all kind of like have you ever seen those players that like you're like, okay, they're good, but then something happens, and all of a sudden it takes them to that next level. I think he's going to that next level, and it's kind of interesting. Shout out to LeVar Ball. He said it. He says, "I think LaMelo is going to be the best one out of my kids," and he's kind of right now. Like as much
Yeah.
as Lonzo, you
Sadly,
know.
that doesn't say much as much as we'd like it
But you know
to.
what? Josh, I understand what you're saying. But for a father to get two of his kids in the NBA, I
I'm not
mean,
saying that. No, I agree. He got all three of his kids basically scholarships to UCLA,
yeah.
and two of his kids in the NBA. I'll give him all the
I
credit for
mean,
that. But I will say that, like, if you're saying, he's going to be the best out of the three children, as talented as Lonzo was, Lonzo right now doesn't say much. No offense to Lonzo, that he's going to have a better career than Lonzo.
thank you for reminding me that the Lakers drafted him. You got anything to say about that?
Jay saying Miami just needs to trade the Lakers, Bam, and start over. No, the Lakers don't need everyone, Jay.
We need we want to be. I want the Lakers. Well, it's funny you say that because the people that are running the Dodgers right now are taking over the Lakers, and I'm
Yeah,
kind
I
of excited
know.
because they're just going to throw money at everybody and say, come on, come play,"
I mean, you
and I
can't do
love
that
it.
It's
though in
going
a
to be
salary cap
awful.
thing, though. It's
They
tougher to
can't.
do.
They'll,
It's tougher to do. It's tougher to do.
they'll
They
figure
can
it out.
play the luxury tax, but it's tougher to do.
It's tougher to do, and it'll be interesting because like the person that's going to be traded that's going to be interesting is not Bam. I wonder if the Clippers start over with Kawhi. And funny enough, the two teams that he might go to are Miami and the Lakers. Are like the two teams that come
I
to
do
mind.
not want him on the Lakers. You had your opportunity and you faked everybody out. That you know how bad that pissed off Laker fans. That beyond pissed off Laker fans. I don't want you. Go play in freaking Toronto again. I don't
It would be
care.
very funny if we went from LeBron Laker to Kawhi on the Lakers, and it's like you have these two superstars that like are superstars, but Lakers kind of hate.
Yeah. You know what, Josh, you're right. If you're like LeBron, don't really like him. Kawhi, we definitely don't like him, but he's on the team. Like, God damn, yeah, you're totally right. Why not, Adelia? All you have are all NBA players and Jokic, and we only have Luca. We definitely need more. I wanted Jokic to come to the Lakers. I think that would.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Jokic, I think, would retire before going to LA.
I think Jokic would retire before going to another team.
I
So,
mostly agree, especially LA though, because he doesn't
Yeah.
seem like someone who will enjoy the spotlight of LA.
No, he would not. He would not.
all right. Let's talk about these first round matchups, and we won't have to get into all of them. But right now, the Cavs beat the Raptors in the first game. Any thoughts on that, Josh or Adelia?
I
mean,
think it was
first half of that game.
expected.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was expecting the Cavs to beat the Raptors in the first game.
I mean, it's just two opposite ends of the spectrum because the Cavs need to win the series, and the Raptors are kind of mostly happy to be there, in my opinion. And like it was a very close game at the beginning of the game, and then the Cavs kind of pulled away. I think like the Cavs are going to win this series, but I also think the Raptors are not going to make it super easy on them, especially with how this game started out. And the Cavs need to win this series. If they lose against the Raptors, it's going to be rough for Donovan Mitchell, for James Harden, for everyone involved.
Kristen, here is your reminder from Richard. Make dinner for
Adelia would
Sorry.
never speak to us again if we managed to get Jokic. That is absolutely correct, Jay. I also think the city of Denver would revolt against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
It would have to be because it would have to be crazy. I can't
It would
imagine
have to
him
be some
leaving.
sort of crazy trade. He wouldn't leave in free agency to LA, I don't think. Yeah.
It would have to be like 8 first-round picks or something.
It
Honestly,
would be
if they
something
could do that.
crazy, yeah.
Well, I mean, we
And
could
even
give
then, they
you.
can't do that really because you can't trade back-to-back years. So like I'm in like it might
It would have to be
Beluga.
crazy.
We'll give you Bronny James. There you go.
Absolutely not. Do not care about Bronny at all.
Wow, Adelia is so mean.
I don't care about LeBron either. Like somebody said back when Luca was traded that you guys should trade LeBron to Denver and give you guys Jokic, and I was just like, are you insane?
That would have been a great trade.
Especially, it would be an argument if LeBron was in his prime, but you're talking about like 40-year-old LeBron that has a year or two left for the best player in the NBA.
Exactly.
Right. Adelia would not go for that. Uh, Speaking of Adelia's Nuggets, they beat the Timberwolves in the first game of the series. Is that? Did you guys expect that? Did you guys
Yes.
I mean, the
explain?
Timberwolves, I will say that game was. I assume, Delia, you were watching that game very closely. That
I
game
was
was.
watching it partly because I had to watch the golf for the fairway today.
Mm, that was a very fun and entertaining game. As a neutral and viewer, for Delia, it might have been
Mm-hmm.
a little more stressful, but there was a lot of runs in that game. Like if there's a series you're like you have to make much watch TV, it's Nuggets versus Timberwolves. There's history between the teams. You have Anthony Edwards versus Nikola Jokic. And like Denver is, in my opinion, ever since Jokic has ascended, has been one of the most fun teams to watch. Like
Yeah.
I just enjoy watching them play, and I enjoy watching Joker play and the way the offense runs. They were a little turnover friendly, like a bit loose with the ball for the first half of the game, and that cleaned up a little in the second half of the game. But like
Yeah.
Minnesota really brought it, and Denver was able to take that punch and then punch back. It was a really great game. I think Denver's going to win the series, and I think Denver is going to go far in the playoffs to spoil my playoff predictions once we get to that. But I think this is a Denver team that I'm very excited to see, and I think Minnesota. It was a very unlucky draw for them because Minnesota is also they there's a reason they always are a tough out and always in the last 2 years made it to the conference finals. They're a team that like is going to be tough for Denver, but I do think Denver will win the series.
I think
Yeah.
Denver will win the series too.
And I think that Minnesota was banking on playing the Lakers in that first round, and now I have to play a hot Denver team. I still think the Lakers would have probably beat Minnesota, but you're like you said, Josh. The Denver is on this crazy winning streak.
13 straight
Honestly, I don't
games.
think the Lakers would beat Minnesota. I have more faith in the Lakers beating the Rockets than I do Minnesota.
You're just trying to hurt my heart today, huh, Josh? Just trying to hurt my heart. If Luca had not gotten hurt, I think,
Oh,
and
I agree.
yeah,
If Luca had not gotten hurt, I would have picked. But what if we're talking about this current version of the Lakers with just
yeah,
LeBron?
no, yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah, no. Just went final. Knicks and Hawks. Your Knicks were able to get that win, 113 to 102. How do you feel about that, Josh? How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Like I think this Hawks team is annoyingly good. Like Quinn Snyder is a very good coach. And even though they don't have like a superstar like Brunson, Jalen Johnson's very good. CJ McCollum, they got a bunch of really good players and some very good like Nikhil Alexander Walker is having a very good season at the moment. I think but I don't think we're going to lose to Atlanta. The real question is going to be Boston in round two, assuming that Boston gets. I still think Philly's going to give Boston a little bit of trouble, but I feel pretty good about the Knicks. I'm maybe the only person I feel like every time I talk to other Knicks fans, they're like, "Man, we suck. Man, we're not going to even beat Atlanta." I think we're going to beat Atlanta. I think we're going to go far. I believe in this team. We got very close last year, and not much has changed other than the East getting weaker. And I don't know. I just also enjoy as a Knicks fan who has suffered. I enjoy watching this Brunson and Towns, OG, McKell, Josh Hart. This is a fun team to watch. And sometimes they break my heart, but they're a fun team. And I'm enjoying every moment of it because this might be the last year of it. And I enjoy this iteration of the Knicks. And I think we can, I believe in them.
Okay, I'm so happy for you right now, Josh, because like you said, you've gone through so much as far as a Knicks fan. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
you are feeling a lot better. And then currently, right now, my Lakers are beating the Rockets 28-24 uh, in the first quarter. Let me see. Let me look at the stats real quick. Um, LeBron is 8 assists. This is exactly what I was talking about. LeBron needing to set up his guys. He has 8 assists right now.
In
Marcus
the
Smart
first
has
quarter,
three.
that's really
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy. Should have bet the over. Um, but so I like to see it. But let's see if it continues. It's only a 4 point game right now, so we'll see what happens. Um, all right, let's move. Is there anything else before we move on to our starting five?
Um, Not much. I mean, do you want to go over like predictions of now that the playoffs has just started, what our finals predictions.
Yeah,
Did we do that last show? I don't remember.
we did kind of do it, but it was with obviously not knowing who was in the playoffs. So we could definitely do that. Let me just move my thing up here.
I'll just quickly say, I think after, especially after watching this first game, for first couple games, I think it's going to be Knicks Denver. I think Adelia, our teams are going to go at it in the finals, and
Okay,
I
I'm
would
looking
like
forward
that.
to it.
I would like
I
that.
I feel it's going to be Pistons Thunder, with the outside possibility of it being the Spurs. If you know,
Mm.
but that's just me. Adelia, what about you?
Um, I don't know. I really don't know. That's the thing. I'm terrible at making predictions on things, so I have no idea. I'd like it to be Knicks Nuggets, but I don't know if the Nuggets can get past the Thunder. They came very close to getting past the Thunder last year. Couldn't do it, so we'll see. But I think we probably get Denver and Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals, though. It's just a matter of which team wins that. And I could see the Knicks coming out of the East. I think they'll get past Boston. And in the next round, I don't expect them to have any trouble with the Hawks in the first round.
I think at most 6 games. I think it's going to go 5, but like I
Yeah.
don't see this being a 7 game series.
Yeah. And then the Pistons, I just don't know about the Pistons because I don't know how healthy Cade Cunningham actually is. And I feel like their whole offense kind of falls apart a little bit without him. So I don't really know what to say about the Eastern Conference right now.
Honestly, like a sneaker team that I'm a little worried about is the Cavs because Donovan Mitchell is really, really good in the playoffs, and they do have the depth. I'm sure James Harden will try and choke it away in some way, but even then, he's had a lot of really good playoff games, and the fact that he's just mostly the facilitator and doesn't like on paper, it would make sense for the Cavs to go on a run and maybe make the Eastern Conference Finals slash the finals on paper. However,
Yeah.
things normally don't go the way paper it goes, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
for sure. All right, let's do our starting five. Adelia, I don't know if you made a list, but you
I
can.
did not. I was not planning on being on the show.
All right, well, so we're gonna start our starting five, and Josh, we're gonna start for Coach of the Year. Who do you have as your Coach of the Year?
My coach of the year is the Spurs coach. Um, I think the fact that the Spurs are a 2 seed and we're challenging 60 plus wins, and 60 plus wins. Wembyama took a huge step forward. By the way, I realized I didn't mention his name, Mitch Johnson. I do know his name, but I wanted to. But I think the fact that Wembyama took the huge step. This is a very young team, and they're relying on young players like Castle, like Harper, and have gotten like a lot of the best out of their players. And I think this it's Spurs, Mitch Johnson.
And I 100% agree with you. That's who I picked as well. So we're both on the
Alright.
same page there.
Jay in the chat says the Pistons coach or the Hornets coach.
I would say Pistons. I wouldn't say the Hornets. I
Yeah, I
say
wouldn't say the
If the
Hornets.
Hornets had made the playoffs, maybe. But
maybe, yeah. All right. Most improved player. Who do you got?
For me, it's Denny Avdia. He's been really, really well.
Wait, who'd you say?
Avida. I'm mispronouncing
Okay,
his last
okay.
name for the Portland Trailblazers.
Gotcha.
He's been in the league for a bit, and he's been like steadily improving. And now he's one of the best players on the Portland Trailblazers, who are the 7 seed, who are, by the way, playing our coach of the year, the Spurs coach, Mitch Johnson. It's, I mean, it's tough because Nikhil Alexander Walker also had a very, very, and he's the betting favorite. But I will say that like I think I'm more impressed with Portland being the 7 seed and Denny being one of the best players than Nikhil Alexander Walker being one of the best players for the Hawks, who I think are a very good team.
Yeah. Okay. I went with Jalen Duren. I believe, if I'm correct. He played for. Let me just should have
The
put.
Pistons?
I believe it's the Pistons. Yes.
Yeah, center for the
Um,
Pistons.
yeah, I think that when you look at the Pistons and you do have a player like Kate Cunningham, you need a player beside him that can also show up. And he was selected as an All Star this year. Um, raised his point average to a career high per game, and improved throughout the year and got that team to a 1 seed. So I I like what he did, and I think he should be the most improved player.
Good pick, good pick. The only reason I didn't choose him is like I thought he was already pretty solid last year, and so he went like again most improved is a weird award because it's like do you go for the player that went from good to great, or someone who went from okay to pretty good, or like what type of jump
Yeah,
is like what you're going for?
yeah, no, totally agree. Um, all right, let's go to defensive player of the year. Who do you got, Josh?
I think we're both going to have the same one. I think it's an easy choice. I think it's Wemby. I think we're kidding ourselves if it's anyone other than Wemby, in my opinion. The impact he has defensively, the way he the way he rim protects, it's just insane. It's like it's truly like like the I mean it's just as long as he hits.
Oh, there went
Not
Josh.
again, Josh.
Not again. Shug, why don't you give us your defensive player of the year while Josh is gone?
Well, I 100% agree uh with Josh. I have it as Wimbiana. I think he's greatly improved throughout the season, rim protecting. Um, he's such a good defensive player that he blocked out Josh from the stream. That's how good of a defensive player he was. Okay, he sent Josh packing. Our good man Josh is back. Yeah, Josh, I agree with you. Wimbiana would be my defensive player of the year this year, and not only has he gone up defensively, but also offensively, he's become stronger throughout in the second season, right? Second or third season? Second season.
I believe it's
Second.
his third
Third
season.
season. Okay.
I think it's the
Yeah.
second.
Oh, let me check.
We have Google phones and uh, internet to,
Yeah.
to find this out.
Yeah, I think
um,
it's Wemby second.
but I would go with
I
I would go with Wimbiana. So
No,
I
whoever
it's
would
his
gets
agree with
third.
you guys on that. It's his
It
third?
it's his third. Yeah.
Okay.
there we
That's
go.
great to me.
There we go. All right, let's go to rookie of the year, Mr. Josh. Who do you got? And I think we're gonna be on the same page here too.
Well, it's going to be very close because it's a really close race between Con Knuckle and Cooper Flag, and it's a very heated debate, and I get both sides. I'm actually going to go Con Knuckle. Did you go Con or did you go Cooper?
I went Cooper.
Interesting. So we have both sides. To me, it was so close. The difference is Con was actually playing games that mattered, and Cooper wasn't. That was like the
Ouch!
difference maker for me.
Ouch, Josh. Hopefully, Cooper Flag doesn't watch this podcast because he's gonna be very hurt by what
Listen,
he
win
hears.
more games and then it matters. But
That is true.
Cooper Flag, I think, is incredible. I think if I were to take a player for the next 5 years, I would probably take Cooper Flag. But if we're talking about this individual season, Con Knuckle was on fire for three on a team that was playing for the play in and was at some points even out of the play in the sixth seed. Like he was an extremely important part of that team. And yes, obviously Cooper Flag's an extremely important part of the Mavericks, but the Mavericks weren't playing for much. They've been out of the playoff race for almost the entire year and not even close to like even the play in. So like if it's going to be if they're both have incredible numbers, if they both have taken over games, if they both have done all this type of stuff, the tiebreaker for me is that like Khan's on a team that was in the play-in and was in games mattered a lot more than Cooper Flag, who was on a team where all those games, like to be honest, it didn't matter because they weren't close to the playoffs.
Yeah, I still give it to Flag. I mean, a lot of times, especially rookie years, outside of like a few exceptions, their teams are not really good because they were the first round pick. First round picks. The teams are not good the next year. So Cooper did his best to keep that team uh, relevant. I think that I do agree with you that maybe wasn't playing important games, but that's also speaking about the team around him. I think if Dallas had a team around him, it would be a different story. Like if you put Cooper Flag on the Lakers with Braun or Luca was on the Mavericks, I think it'd be a different story. So I get what you're saying with that, but also too, I think that you have to just these are awards. Sometimes I think we try to too much look at team success when you really need to look at individual success because it's an individual award. Um, and that's just me. That's just my how I look at
Well,
it.
here's a question I'll ask you: was Cooper Flag the best player on the Mavericks this year?
Yes.
So if that's the case, then his team not winning, I put more weight on that because he's carrying the weight of his team more. And maybe it's fair to say, well, I mean, if he's the best player on the team as a rookie, it doesn't that means he shouldn't be expected to win. But Khan was up there for one of the best players on the Hornets, and he was one of the main reasons they were able to win on a couple of those moments, in my opinion. Yes, Ball is clearly the best player, and yes, if Cooper was on a different team, then something else would have happened. But like, I don't know, it's close. Like the reason, like if Cooper was having like a like two times better season than Khan, I would agree with you. Because it's so close between the two of them, because Con Knuppel set the record for 3 points made for a rookie, because he was that good, where he was on par, if not maybe a little below Cooper when it comes to this type of stuff. The tiebreakers for me is going to be team success. I agree with you where it's like if someone's clearly better, but the other person who's second is like clearly worse, and then the team success isn't there. I'll agree with you. Go with the person who's clearly better. I don't think Cooper has clearly had a better season than Khan. I don't think that's the gap between Cooper and Khan is big enough where team success doesn't matter.
Okay, that's where you're coming from. All right,
I
and
just
let's.
I just
Oh,
want to
sorry.
say about the whole thing that I think it's really hard to be rookie of the year as the number one overall pick because expectations for you are so high. And if you don't meet those expectations, they're going to start looking at other players, especially if your team's still bad. And I think they probably will give it to Con Knippel because his team was better. But I think it's like a coin flip between the two of them personally.
Absolutely. And I will say I think it is more of a coin flip. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm just like for me the tiebreaker was team success because that is like the difference, the clear difference between the two.
Yeah.
All right, and we're gonna move on to MVP. Josh, who is your MVP?
I think this might be a very, very hot take. My MVP is Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion. He's the person, if I had to vote, I would vote for. I think the fact that he's clearly the best defensive player of the year, the fact that he also was an incredible offensive player, and the fact that if you're talking about most valuable, if you take off Victor from the Spurs, I'm not sure they might be a play-in team. I'm not sure if they're anywhere close to the two seed. I think he is so important to that team and so like such a hard player to game plan around and the stats are there. I mean, they're not as good as Jokic and SGA, of course. Like if you're talking about pure stats, it's going to go to Jokic or SGA. But I think Victor has had just as big of an impact as as the Joker, as SGA, and in my opinion, if I had a vote, the fact that the Spurs are a two seed, I like to include team success as a big point for my awards picks. I'm not going to make it the end all be all, but if I'm having a hard time choosing, if someone really overachieved what their team is supposed to do, I'm going to give them credit for that. And the fact that Victor Wembanyama is clearly the number one player on the Spurs, clearly the best defensive player, and I'm going to like count the defense toward not just the offense. It's just like, oh, he's clearly the best defensive player and one of the best offensive players and he had such an incredible season that took the Spurs to the two seed and all of that. Maybe the stats, offensive stats, don't line up between him versus SGA versus Joker, but I think the defense bridges the gap for me, and because of that, I would go Victor Wembanyama.
I would actually agree with you. I just went with SGA only because of how good the Thunder have been. Um, I think that if you take SGA off the Thunder, they're still a decent team, but he like puts them over the top and makes them that one seed, makes them an NBA champion. I think I agree with you with Wemby too. That if you take them off the Spurs, are they a play-in team? Are they even making the playoffs? Maybe. But I do understand where you're coming from as far as defense with Wembyamba and how good he's become at defense, and also how good his offense has been becoming. So I think it's kind of the same thing when we were talking about rookie of the year. It's kind of a coin flip. Like they're the first seed and the second seed. You can kind of just take your pick.
Absolutely,
Um,
and like SGA like is going to win it, and it's a deserved MVP most likely. Like I think he's going to win it, and I think it's deserved. I'm not going to be like, oh, Victor should have definitely won it over him. It's like no, there's a very good argument for SGA over Wembanyama. There's a very good argument for Joe. I think this is one of those MVP seasons where you could make a legitimate argument for like six different people. I think you can make an SGA argument. I think you can make a Joker argument. Can make. I just made the Wemby argument. You can definitely make a Luca argument, and you could definitely make a either Cade Cunningham or Jalen Brown argument.
yeah,
Like it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm going to ask you this. We didn't plan for this, but like it's going to be very clear that the first team All NBAs, the last spot is either going to go to Cade or Jalen Brown. And I'm very interested. Which one would you give it to?
I'd probably go Cade
I
because he's
think
just
so
had
too,
an
but it's
amazing.
close.
Yeah, it's close, but he's had an amazing year,
I know.
especially leading that team. So I would probably go Cade personally.
I would too, but it's very close. And like I think like Jalen Brown has not gotten he's gotten a good amount of flowers, but I don't even think he's gotten enough flowers for how incredible he was this season and how he was able to be the best player for that Boston team the majority of the year where Tatum wasn't there.
Yeah, for sure. Adelia, any thoughts on MVP?
If he was eligible, I would give it to Cade Cunningham just because of the total turnaround in
Good news he
Detroit.
is.
Yes.
Is he? Okay,
Well, what
I'd give it to
happened is
Him.
the NBA ruled that like because he was a game away, that like it was extenuating circumstances enough that he is eligible. Both him and Luca, despite being a game or a two away,
Well,
I think Luca
Wemby
is
too
two
then,
and
right?
Cade is
Because Wemby
one.
only played 64 games from what I'm looking at.
I thought Wemby was eligible. I could
That's
be
what I'm
wrong.
saying. Like I think he's eligible because of something.
Yeah.
Because this article says that he's eligible due to the rules, but it doesn't say what the rules are.
Okay.
Even though the rule is supposed to be 65 games.
So
So,
he must have been added on that as well. The NBA sometimes, if there's extenuating circumstances on certain stuff, I think the extenuous. Funny enough, the circumstances for Luca was like not the injury, but like the fact that he missed a game or two because his child was born and he went to that.
hmm
I believe, if I remember
yeah,
correctly,
yeah.
and so. But yeah, believe Wemby's
Oh,
eligible.
oh
So yeah.
yeah. He's eligible because they counted his NBA Cup final appearance towards the
Oh, that
total
makes
of
sense.
games. So he played 64 regular season games and the NBA Cup final.
That makes
There you
sense.
go. There you go. Look at that. Our statistician, Miss Adelia. Um,
I know how to Google. That's all it is.
that hey, you're doing better than me. All right. Anything else you want to touch on, Josh, before we get out of here?
I'm going to wish good luck for your Lakers. I'm as soon as I log off, I'm running to watch the Laker game for sure. And it's awesome. I love the NBA playoffs. Anyone who is like a casual NBA fan, I would just stop what you're doing, watch as much NBA playoffs and basketball as you can, because the playoffs are a different level of intensity. I'm so excited to watch each series. I love to see the adjustments each team makes and how the series swings, how each game is so close and sometimes comes down to one final play. We haven't had a game like that today, but we're going to have a series, maybe not in the first round, but that we're going to watch, and then we're going to be like, that one play changed it all, and oh my god, that play goes a different way. Then we have a different maybe NBA Finals champ or something like that. So I just highly recommend anyone who isn't go watch the NBA Finals and spend your time watching the NBA Finals. I'll also quickly say, by the way, we are going to be changing our schedule. We're going to be doing more often because it is the NBA playoffs. We each round, as soon as the round starts, we're going to be putting out an episode.
Yep, we would definitely do that. Adelia, anything else you want to get to before we get out of here?
No, just enjoy the playoffs. Enjoy the playoffs in any sport that the playoffs are going on right now. We've got the Stanley Cup playoffs covered on Playoff Beards if you're interested in that. So check it out.
Yeah, and real quick, I didn't realize this. Me and Adelia are like mortal enemies this week because the Kings are playing the Avalanche
Yep.
and the Dodgers are playing the Rockies.
That doesn't matter. The
It does
Dodgers are going to
matter.
sweep the Rockies.
It's a close game right now, so
It can be a close game. The Dodgers are still going to win.
But mortal enemies between me and Adelia right now, and then because our Denver Nuggets took over my third place Lakers, I'm kind of mad. So Adelia,
I think
to you,
because of that, we can only meet in the conference finals, right?
which is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but
But you can only hope. No, but appreciate everybody that hung out. J to six. Anybody else watching this? If you're watching this on replay, please hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not. Make sure to comment. Let us know what you thought. If you agree with our picks for MVP or the prediction for the series, let us know. Or defensive player of the year, whatever you want to let us know. Or you just want to tell me and Josh that we're idiots and we don't know what we're talking about. I go ahead and do that. It's fine. As long as you engage with us, we appreciate it. Josh, let the people know where they can find you at outside of the step up.
They can find me.
The step up. Jesus
I was
Christ!
about
Okay.
to say, Shug, do you
It's
not
a great
know the
movie.
name of the
Yeah.
show?
It's great. For some reason, I was thinking of Channing Tatum right now.
It's all good. We spent a lot of the day today watching NBA basketball and just sitting on our couch, so our brains are a little melted.
Yeah.
But you can find me here. You can also find me on this God. Now that I'm worried about getting the name wrong, but you can find us on This Was the Schmodown with
This was the
Adelia.
Schmodown, yes.
What's it called? We got I'm so grateful for everyone who watched the draft episode. We got a lot of engagement on that, and the next one is going to be just as big / controversial as an episode.
What's
So
the next episode?
What's that?
What's that next episode? What
The
is
next
it?
episode is top 10 legacies.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go through the GOAT debate. We're going to go through our own Mount Rushmores, and we're going to go through basically based purely on mostly on accomplishments. We might do a little character, but for the most part, it's just accomplishments. It's how many belts you won, how many times you defended. What's it called? Anything that's accomplishment related is the majority of what's going into it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
and real quick, I just want to say to Delia and the idea that she came up with that draft. I know it was presented by one of our patrons. It was such a good, fun time, and we got a lot of old Schmodown people engaging on it. It was really funny.
We got a lot of people being like, "What do you mean I was drafted here?" Or "What do you mean I wasn't drafted?"
Right, King Kong was so mad that he didn't get drafted. It was
The movie guy is also not happy.
I will give King Kong. He's probably not watching the basketball show. If he is, I'll give him a shout out. The reason why he wasn't drafted on my team, I thought he was drafted. On my board, I crossed him out. For some reason, I thought he was drafted. If I knew he was on the board, I probably would have picked him.
So it
You
was
can
great.
say you can say that on the next episode of the Schmodown Show. Then
Yes.
Well, he's probably boycotting us now because nobody
who
drafted
knows?
him. But it's okay.
Who knows?
Adelia, what about you? Where can people find you at?
Well, you can find me tomorrow on this channel at noon Pacific doing a watch along to the final round of the RBC Heritage Classic with Ryan and possibly Ferris on the Fairway watch along. So check that out. I'll also be back here Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, to do starting 11 with Snark. I might be incredibly sad on that episode, depending on the results of tomorrow's Arsenal match. So we will see about that. And then Thursday night, I believe it's 5 Pacific is when it will start. We're doing a watch along of the first round of the NFL draft. And then Friday night, it's the debut episode on this channel of The Pulse. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to The Pulse last night on the post-credits channel. We're alternating between the post-credits and Good Friends, Better Rivals every week. So we're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about insane prices.
By the way, Delia, we
Insane
do have draft
prices.
news right now. Breaking
Oh, yeah.
draft news.
The Dexter Lawrence trade.
Yes.
Ferris is not happy. I'll tell you
I'm
that
actually
much.
very happy. I'm surprised he's not happy. I'm a Giants fan. I'm shocked we got a first round pick for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, we'll have the draft watch along on Thursday. Then we'll be talking about the first 3 rounds of the draft on the Pulse on Friday. And we'll be talking about other things like insane ticketing prices for the World Cup and insane train prices. If you want to take a train from New York City to go to the stadium in New Jersey to watch the World Cup, it's going to be $150 round trip when it's usually $12.90 or something like that. So that's crazy, and we're going to talk about it on the show. So join us for that.
Way to jack up the prices, people. Jesus Christ. And for me, you can find me here with Josh doing this the step back. Like you said, we're going to be doing it more often due to the playoffs. Also, you can find me with the dude doing trailer reactions. We just did a bunch of trailer reactions. We're waiting for that Doomsday trailer to come out because that is what we're sitting on our hands and knees.
I think it's
begging.
not coming out now until Mandalorian and Grogu's in theaters. I think they put it in front of that.
So frustrating.
It's the end of May.
I know.
I just want to see it already.
But we've done a bunch of trailers. Check them out. You can also find me as Still Conspiracy, which will be coming back. It's just been tough. Life is happening, but it will be coming back with me and Adelia. And you can also find me 90 Feet with Ryan and Ferris. And that's just me gloating about how good the Dodgers are every time we do that show. So come hang out if you want to hear Ryan and Ferris just get mad at me all day. Appreciate everybody that watched. Appreciate everybody that interacts with us. Thank you for hanging out. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Check out all our links in the description. Come join the Discord. Come hang out. There's some good things going on in the Discord. We really appreciate everybody. We hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy the hockey playoffs. Enjoy whatever sports you are watching. Have a good one, and we will talk to you later.